Hello. So my name is Jason Crabb, and I'm going to be teaching you how to implement the Readers Theater portion of the Personalized Learning Camp for summer 2024. You'll want to go into your Canvas course and click on the tile for Personalized Learning Camp. And as you get in, you'll go to Modules, click on that, and you'll scroll down to the section
Read.
for Readers Theater. So under Reader's Theater, you will see step-by-step instructions for Reader's Theater. So you'll go ahead and click on that. You'll
Read.
want to read the step-by-step instructions below in its entirety and take notes on what you like and what you don't like about this guide as you compare it to the teacher's role in Reader's Theater article. Which of the two strategies is better? Will you implement one or combine ideas from two? When you're ready to answer these questions, head to the discussion board to answer those. And so, real briefly, I mean, it's actually quite a few steps. But if you look at it, if you follow the steps, you'll have a successful Reader's Theater program. You'll make copies of the script that you're using for your students. You'll identify and select three students who read fluently, or invite three colleagues to assist you in modeling the procedure. Provide time for the students or colleagues to read the script and practice. Prepare assigned student groups prior to class. Include a stronger reader in each group. Ensure that criteria chart slide can be projected for easy viewing, or create a poster with the criteria chart before class. And I'm going to go ahead and click on that criteria chart for you. And
Read.
here it's loading. And so the criteria chart for that you're going to use for Reader's Theater is that readers speak clearly and use an appropriate volume. Readers read the text accurately. Readers read text with expression. Members of the group cooperate with each other during rehearsal time, and the group uses their rehearsal time wisely. So these are norms that you will establish with the students in regards to Reader's Theater, that everyone is participating and they're using that criteria. So then you
Read.
introduce the strategy. Explain to students that they will be participating in an activity to help them increase their understanding of characters in different stories. Tell them they will read a script, divide into smaller groups, and practice reading a section of the script. They will then perform their section for the class. Ask students if they are familiar with scripts, what scripts look like, the purpose of scripts, and when scripts would be used. Make sure students understand scripts are used when writing plays, movies, or television shows. Scripts are written primarily with all dialogue, but also may include stage directions or directions for the characters. For example, how to react to a particular statement. Scripts can be used for fictional and non fictional purposes, and for narrative, expository, or persuasive purposes. Tell students they will each be assigned a role. Once they have their role, explain to the students they will need to read and practice their part several times so that when they perform for the class, they will sound as if they are talking rather than reading. They will also practice with the other members of their group, so they should sound as if they are talking to each other in having a conversation. Tell students before you model what they need to do when they're practicing and performing. You're going to use the review criteria or rules they need to follow when they're working together. Display the criteria chart slide. Tell students there are 5 criteria they'll need to follow, and we went over those. Discuss each of the rules. Ask students to elaborate on the rules, explain why they are important, and seek volunteers to provide examples and not examples. So here are some examples. Ask students to model appropriate volume and non-appropriate volume. Explain if the text is not read accurately, the meaning of the text can change, the author of the script selected specific words when writing the script, and it's important to respect the author's choices. Ask students to read a sentence written on the board. Today we're going to the zoo, with different expressions: happy, sad, and confused.
Read.
Today we're going to the zoo. Today we're going to the zoo. Today we're going to the zoo? Okay, you get the
Read.
point. Focus on encouraging students to support each other during their practice time and helping all students improve their reading when discussing with members of the group cooperating. Explain to students they will not have a lot of time to practice before they perform for the entire class. And let students know it's important that they practice their lines and know when it is their turn to speak. Ask the class to repeat the 5 criteria. Post a criteria chart in different areas of the room as a reminder for the students when they divide into groups and begin practicing. Model. Ask your student helpers or colleagues to join you in front of the class, read the introduction to the script, and explain the background.
Read,
Model a rehearsal time. Assign a role to each student, review the criteria chart, point to the first criteria, and suggest each student say the first line to check and make sure everyone is using appropriate volume levels. Provide behavior specific praise for appropriate volume levels, or corrective feedback if the volume level is too loud or too soft. Point to the second criteria. Suggest
read,
everyone in the order of the script read their lines aloud. Model reading a word incorrectly and having another person provide corrective feedback. Once everyone has read through the lines, model thanking group members who helped with words you may have stated incorrectly and state the importance of saying the correct words. Point to the
read,
third criterion and suggest everyone in the order of
read,
the script reread their lines. But this time, group members will pay attention to everyone's expression. Encourage group members to stop after everyone has read 2 to 3 lines and ask about their expression. For example, how was my expression? Did I use enough? Whatever.
read,
Did I
read,
show that I was happy? Did I show that I was sad? Model providing compliments to group members. I like the
read,
way you showed your anger. It was great the way you said it made me feel really sad.
read,
Point to the fourth criteria. Model thanking group members for their help, both with helping correct words and suggestions, feedback on expressions used while reading. And then point to the fifth criterion and model checking the time and suggesting
read,
reading the passage. Once the passage has been read correctly and with expression, complete another time check. Model praising group members for staying focused, working collaboratively, and having several opportunities to read the passage. Ask the rest of the class to identify the behaviors they saw and the behaviors they did not see. Ask if they have any questions about what they should do when they are in their groups and respond accordingly. Tell the class you will now perform the script. Read through the script, everyone modeling appropriate volume, accuracy, and expression. And
read,
then here's the guided practice. Assign students to their groups. Pre-write group names on the scripts and assign roles before class begins to ease the transition and keep students on task for the first few classes you use the Reader's Theater. Also tell the groups where in the room they will meet to practice their scripts. Remind students about the 5 criteria and point out the criteria charts around the room. Tell students they will have 15 minutes to practice and that you will check in on their progress. Set a timer. Walk around the classroom. Sit with different groups of students and listen to the students read the scripts and practice. Provide
read,
praise and or feedback on the students' reading, expression, and interactions with each other. It's cooperation. Ask the students for their attention when the timer beeps. Check to see if different groups completed the reading at least once by thumbs up or thumbs down. Tell the students when the next class begins, they will have an opportunity to practice with their group again before they perform. Collect the scripts and elicit feedback on what the students liked best. Focus on the
read,
positive
read,
and independent practice. Review the activities completed by the previous day. Identify the main points. Provide students with an agenda for today's activities. Continue rehearsing and performing for the class. Display the criteria chart. Ask the volunteers to read the expectations of Reader's Theater. Call on students to elaborate and explain. Ask students to get into their groups and pass out the scripts to the students. Depending upon your class schedule, set enough time for practicing and for group performances. Remind students how much time they have to practice. Set the timer for the practice session. Rotate through the groups to answer any questions and to ensure the students are prepared to perform. Call the
read,
class back together when the timer beeps. Groups can stay seated together, but remind them to give the performers respect. Tell students their group members are in a basket.
read,
Explain to the students when their group number is called, each student should move quickly to the front of the room and stand. Ensure that every group performs. Discuss with the groups and the class the strengths of the performance and suggestions to improve the performance after each performance. And that
read,
is all you need to do for Reader's Theater. I'm going to
read.
go back in the course and I'm going to show you a video. And so this is the video I want to show you.
Reader's Theater. It helps build fluency in expressive reading and is a whole lot of fun. On today's episode, I'm giving you my tips for implementing Reader's Theater in your classroom. Tip number one, explicit modeling. Students need to know what expressive, fluent reading sounds like. So before you begin divvying up roles, model for your students. You can play multiple roles and you can also model how to hold the script while reading. See, you couldn't hear anything I was saying, could you? I to hold the script like this. Are you kidding? We never steal the ball. Tip number two, echo read. Echo reading is when the class repeats the same line the teacher reads, practicing the exact phrasing and expression. This tip is especially important if it's your class's first time doing readers theater. You want to give students the opportunity to freely practice expressive reading in a safe environment. So, what better way than a whole group mirroring the teacher? I find that this step is helpful for students to start sensing when it comes to theater, the bigger the better, especially since the tendency is for students at this age is to be very reserved when it comes to reading aloud. Echo reading is a great way to break students out of their shell in a non threatening way. Et tu brute, et tu brute, et tu brute. Tip number three, differentiate roles. Every classroom has students at a variety of reading levels. Luckily, in Reader's Theater, scripts contain a variety of roles, some more demanding than others. This way, you can differentiate to make sure all your students feel comfortable with their assigned role. So be purposeful when you assign roles, placing students with higher reading abilities in roles that do more of the heavy lifting. After students have heard a particular script multiple times, then students can start switching roles if they feel comfortable. Tip number four, rehearse. Remember, Reader's Theater is building students' fluency skills, and one of the best ways to build fluency is through repeated readings of a familiar text. So allow students to rehearse in their Reader's Theater's group so they can reap all the benefits of practicing their fluent, expressive reading. This will also build students' confidence in reading aloud. Keith, you have you been flossing? So confident. Tip number five, joyfully perform. Students have so much fun performing their script for one another, so give them that opportunity after they've built their confidence while rehearsing. Have students stand at the front of the room with their script in hand. This is the best opportunity for students to practice their projection. Sometimes I allow students to make simple props or masks if they'd like to add some theatrics to their performance. All groups are celebrated with an encouraging round of applause. You like me. You really like me. I hope you try implementing Reader's Theater in your classroom. I incorporate it daily during my Reader's Workshop. If your language arts curriculum does not provide Reader's Theater scripts, Teachers Pay Teachers is a great resource, and many have the scripts already differentiated for varying reading abilities. I'm Beth Cunningham Murray. Thank you for watching and subscribing to Classroom Quick Tips. See you next time.
All right. So those were some great tips for Reader's Theater. And I'm going to go forward to spaces because we already read that. And so we have the criteria chart here on this page that we've gone over already. And then some of the roles in Reader's Theater. And if you feel like reading this is another way that you can implement Reader's Theater in your classroom. It's a 7-page article that if you don't like that first one that we recommend, then you can go ahead and use this one as well. And then there's Reader's Theater success criteria, and there's a Reader's Theater rubric. So I'll show you what those look like real quick. And so with the Reader's Theater success criteria, to conclude our role play unit, you will be performing in small group or Reader's Theater script. You're to read a script with a focus on becoming the character you're trying to portray. Emphasize words, incorporate large movement, incorporate facial expression, make sure the voice is loud and clear. This will all be assessed in the final performance. You'll also be encouraged to look up at the audience periodically throughout the performance. Don't just have your eyes glued to the script. So this is the rubric and the success criteria you see below. And it's in kid-friendly language, so I can read off a script with a loud and clear voice. I can read off the script with a slow pace, avoiding rushing through my lines. I can face my audience, center stage when speaking. I can become my character, adding expression to words when I speak. I can incorporate large movement into my performance. I can make eye contact at times throughout my performance, avoiding reading every word directly off the script. And so those are some of the criteria that you're going to share with the kid. And then the Reader's Theater rubric
Read.
and let that load. All right. And so here's a possible rubric that you could use, and that's for Rewrite Think. So either one you use, like if you use this rubric or you use the success criteria, and that could be formed into its own rubric. That's up to you how you want to do that. And then that's all we
Read.
have, except for the fact that we also have a lot of resources. So Reader's Theater Mega Resource is here for you if you want to scroll down. There's 769 pages of different Reader's Theater scripts that you can use. So I'm just going to click on that real quick. And that is available. And these are, obviously, a lot of these are for younger children, but you can find some that aren't so much. And you could also, I just clicked on one. This one is Even That
Read.
Moose Won't Listen to Me. Okay, so there's different scripts that kids can use. And so one fun thing for them to do is actually just to pick their own script. So, out of 750 or more than 750, they should be able to find one that they would like to do. But there are others as well. And so there's another resource here. And if you click on this link, even though it says that it's available, it is Reader's Theater scripts, and they can go through, and all of these are clickable. And then there's another resource on the next page, Legend of Lightning Larry. I'm just going to keep going. There's a whole bunch of different resources. No Bath Tonight. And so I'm going to go back to the module just to kind of show you how many different resources that we've given you for that. And so Reader's Theater, you could see, where the wild things are, where the sidewalk ends, the Calabash Kids, and that's it. So if you have any
Read.
questions about Reader's Theater, you can always contact me, jason.crab@theusd.us. And I will have office hours on June 3rd, all day long. So you can just jump into my office hours and talk to me about anything in the personalized learning camp that you have questions about. Great. Thank you.